This video was made possible by Dashlane. Stay safe online for free by signing up at dashlane.com/HAI. Back in 1989, a guy by the name of Igor Dmitrovsky filed the paperwork to incorporate a small little business in the state of New York. This company would enter the metal cylinder organism transport business under the name Baltia Airlines. The airline was to fly from New York, US to St. Petersburg, USSR. That's a throwback. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics was starting to become less united, Soviet, and socialist. Simultaneously, the US and USSR were starting to get a little friendlier with each other. The USSR even kinda, sort of, maybe supported the US and its allies' group project of obliterating a few thousands of Saddam Hussein's closest friends in the Gulf War. How we got from Baltia Airlines to Saddam Hussein in a few sentences, I'm not sure. But I am sure that, with these big boys' Cold War being more of a slightly chilled dispute at this point, a treaty was signed that allowed for more flights between the US and USSR. With that, Baltia saw an opportunity to snatch up some routes before others did, and was somehow granted approval to be the only US airline to operate flights to St. Petersburg, Riga, Kiev, Minsk, and Tbilisi. Cool, said Baltia. What was that thing we needed? Right, money! Hence, Baltia started the please give us money phase of business establishment, and did I mention it's now 1991? Baltia hired an investment banker, a job with a description of you give me money and then I'll find you money, but then, curveball, there's a coup in the USSR. It failed, but still to this, investors went, maybe I'll invest in an airline not entirely banking on operating to a place where there are active coup d'etat attempts. For example, like literally almost any other airline in the world. So yeah, Baltia didn't get enough money. The only real thing they had at the time was a small office at JFK Terminal 1 in New York. Oh, and then the Soviet Union collapses. Anyway, 5 years of nothingness passes, and then Baltia finally has a little more luck getting money. At this point, they're ready to get going. They register with the DOT, they set up at JFK Terminal 4, they start getting FAA certification, they do all the other initialism-related things, and they even buy some airplanes. 2 former Cathay Pacific 747-200s. This probably seems impressive, but you can actually get old airplanes like these fairly easily. Basically, they cost so much to keep in working order that airlines will sell them for next to nothing, at least in airplane terms. For example, this website has a 747 for sale for only a few $1,000,000, and they do go for even less. My Kickstarter to become the world's first YouTube channel turned budget airline is coming soon. I'll call it Half is Airworthy. Anyways, now with a plane, things were looking up for Baltia. To raise the final funds needed, the plan was to list publicly on the NASDAQ stock exchange. Unfortunately, the listing process was so disastrously mismanaged that they got no money, and for a period of 2 years, they actually were not sure whether they were a public company or not. I know that sounds ridiculously made up, but this is according to the company's official DOT certification application. Anyways, for the next decade and a bit, they keep looking for money, and they always got some, meaning they did have investors, but never enough. The other issue is that they tried multiple times to get FAA certification, which is needed to fly, and always failed. At points it looked like they were getting close to flying, even going as far to train flight attendants in 2014. They had gotten rid of one of these 747s already, but still had the other. It was around this time that they realized that the St. Petersburg plan was maybe not as genius as they had once thought. There are 0 flights from St. Petersburg to the US, and to think that Baltia was going to fill one of the largest planes out there with passengers on the non-stop flight was absurd. There just isn't the demand. So, new plan. They were going to lease some small regional jets, set up a hub in Baltimore, and fly hourly to Trenton, Islip, and Albany. And what was their reasoning for this route structure? Baltimore, BAL, Trenton, T, Islip, I, Albany, A. They literally chose their route network based off their name. Tens of millions of dollars had been invested in the company at this point, and this 100% is not a joke. At least, it's not my joke. For some strange reason, that plan didn't go anywhere. They tried and failed to buy a small airline that actually flew, they rebranded as US Global Airways, the Security and Exchange Commission caught on to their shenanigans, filed charges against their executives, and revoked their ability to sell stock, but they're still going at it. US Global Airways has a website, executives, investors, and all, and their goal is now to start flying between Stewart International Airport near New York and Europe. Their website says, US Global Airways strives to establish itself in the airline industry as the United States' premier international and customer-centric air carrier. Points for optimism, I guess. By now, Baltia/US Global has been labeled by many as a scam. At the very least, its investors have not seen great returns on their investments. Right, now if you see an airplane that looks like this, you probably don't want to get on without a life insurance plan, some Pepto, and a parachute. Similarly, if you see a Wi-Fi network that looks like this, you probably don't want to hop on unless you have protection, like a VPN. Dashlane Premium includes a VPN that encrypts your online activity so you can stay safe when using unsecured Wi-Fi networks. This is just one of many online security tools that their premium offering has, including secure file storage and dark web monitoring. You can get started using Dashlane for password management for free at dashlane.com/HAI, and then the first 200 people to use the code HAI will get 10% off upgrading to premium to access all the features mentioned.